listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. What? Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. Be focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. Lineage go back to U.S. Southern plantations. Lineage, Jim Crow and mass incarceration. Redline and lynchings. We are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG the wise one. Cousin Mother intellectual. Samantha bringing fire. Anti-black, we pressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country. To win, you need our energy. You gon' see. Listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. Be focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake.
All right. So welcome to Reset Race. So today I will be leading us in this venture because MG is off being a good husband. John is off being a good student. So Black men doing good things. So let's get this started. Today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to actually start by introducing the guests first. So Edie, it's always ladies first. So Edie, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Edie and I'm a local activist in California.
Thank you, Edie. See, that was perfect. All right,
Sorry
then Avery, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, hello everyone. I'm Avery from North Carolina. I'm an activist with the organization BN4C, that's Black Networking for Change. And I was a part of ADOS and helped start NCADOS.
All right, and then as always, I am Samantha Angelique. You can sometimes catch me at me17 trillion on Twitter for now until I run away from you people. But today is actually a really good day. So Mud, go ahead and introduce yourself and then I'll set us up for what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, they call me Mud. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and on Clubhouse at Of Lineage. Better Dose TV is on Actify Press. Let's go ahead and get to the show.
And Mud said, don't be coming in on Clubhouse talking about this indigenous stuff. Talking about we was never slaves. Mud ain't having it. Mud is burning cars and houses and whole towns. Okay. So today's show, I invited Avery to come on, first of all, because HR40 is again in the Congress. And a lot of people have a lot of ideas, but a lot of people have no idea how the sausage is made. A lot of people have no idea how to even get a bill, what happens once the bill is in Congress. People don't know what a markup is. People don't know that markups have to come here. People don't know anything. So I invited Avery to come on and kind of talk to us and kind of teach us some of the basics so people can just be better informed. So when people are making strategies or just at least they'll have a better idea of what's going on. So Avery, thank you so much for coming because, you know, the blind have been leading the blind and I need you to shed some light on some stuff.
No problem. So where you want to start at? What you want to
start at the basic, like, because people keep talking about edits and you keep saying stuff has to go through markups, and then you were saying there's something different between a markup and a revision. So, like, let's we dumb. I'm dumb, deaf, and blind. Like, how
okay.
would you start talking to one of your children and get them to understand what they need to know?
With HR40, we've been waiting since 1989 with HR40 and John Conyers, because the year after the Japanese got reparations, John Conyers came with the idea of Black people deserve reparations.
Mary Murakami is one of thousands of people who received reparations from the U.S. government decades after being forced into an internment camp during World War II. She was just a teenager when her family was taken from their home, eventually ending up in Utah. She spent a total of 3 years in the camps and is one of over 100,000 people of Japanese ancestry interned from 1942 to 1945. It would take decades of effort by the Japanese American community before Congress agreed to form a commission to study what happened. That ultimately led to an apology from President Ronald Reagan and reparations. Those eligible would later receive a $20,000 payment from the U.S. government, which in today's dollars would equal to about $44,000.
The ones who really needed it were our parents, and they were already dead.
We know the bill came. We all know the history and the story about HR40 up to the point people on the ground got involved and started getting more co-sponsors on the bill. I was one of the people that got Dr. Dirty written testimony into the HR40 hearing, public hearing they had in 2019. And the person that runs the subcommittee, see, that's what it is. You got to go to the person that's the head of committees. That's why when you go into the job in Congress, they put you on different committees and they put a chairman of that committee. And HR40 keeps going to the Judiciary Committee. And every year they send it from the Judiciary Committee to the subcommittee on constitutional, civil rights, and civil liberties. And the chairman of that committee is Stephen Corn. And I got him to invite Dr. Darity to the HR40 public hearing. Dr. Darity testimony got submitted into Congress June 19th, 2019. From that day, I've been telling people to get his edit put into the record and actually put onto the bill, the Judiciary Committee or the subcommittee has to have a markup section. In the markup section, they take all the evidence and different legislation and different edits they get from different people that sit on the Judiciary Committee. They all review it and they vote on to add the edits or not, or to kill the bill or let the bill pass like how it is. So our only focus should be on is getting the markup section and getting the edits that's already a part of HR40 because it's a part of the record. Actually getting a member of that Judiciary Committee to submit his records. It's a basic plan. That's how they do it. That's how everybody do it, but we just want to go just do shit our own way. That's basically how I feel about it.
You said we need to focus on the people who are actually on the committee.
Yeah, it's 24 days. It's actually the Democrats on the Judiciary Committee. The Democrats run the House, the Senate, and the White House. You don't have to worry about a Republican. Everybody talking about what Republicans said, the Republican witness just saying the other day at the hearing. None of that matters because they ain't the people that's in power. The Democrats run the Judiciary Committee. They run the House, period. They've been running the House for a few years now. So Jerry Neller and any member that's on the Judiciary can edit the bill and submit the edits to the Judiciary. They'll vote on it. That's no other way that an edit can come out. You can call your congressman all day, every day. They don't sit on that committee. You calling them just because you feel like calling them. What they can do? They can't do nothing. They can't do nothing about it.
Okay. No, that's what's up. So me and Edie have a lot of conversations, and Edie's been telling me for a while that people need to that there needs to be a call to action, and that people need to be making phone calls, sending emails, and also sending snail mail.
Yes, I try to think of how gun rights activists, those Second Amendment people work. And, I've watched them on the Facebook in the past and they call all the time, and that's how they keep their Congress people in check, is calling. And then when you ask a congressperson, they say, send a letter. That shows us that you really care about the issue. So I think that would be a great way to do it. And I also feel like we should really hound, I should have changed my wording. I feel like we should really stay on to Mr. Congressman James Clyburn, because he changed the direction of the Democratic primaries. He basically decided and told the Black community who to vote for. And so the Black community should be demanding this from him.
I got you on that one. But Clyburn isn't on that committee, so we can't get him for HR40. But we do need to get him.
Damn.
Well, he's the whip.
Clyburn, the majority whip of the Democrats. He's over the Judiciary Committee. Can't no bill in Congress.
Oh, is he? I didn't know. He is over the Judiciary Committee.
Yes.
I didn't know that, Avery.
I'm gonna tell you the power
Let's
structure.
get him, Edie. We have to cut that out.
Hakeem Jeffers. Hakeem Jeffers, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's a Democrat caucus leader. Then Clyburn is over him. He's the majority. He's the whip majority.
I did not know that.
Then it's Stephen Hort, something like that. He's the majority leader, and it's Nancy Pelosi. Can't no bill get passed without all of them being a part of it. But if they're gonna tell you the bill haven't made it out of the Judiciary Committee. And Clyburn is just pushing the 10, 20, 30 plan. That's his reparation. He want to give it to all poor people. And like you were saying, that calling and email campaigning, my senator is a Republican. He told me himself, he wrote me a letter back and told me everything. He said, only way that action can happen on that bill is in the Judiciary Committee. He said he wouldn't vote on the bill. He ain't gonna sign it. He told me the truth.
Absolutely. Yeah, I believe that if you have a Republican representative, that you should call our Democratic Party leaders in the House.
Yeah. That's how I end up getting Cohen to submit Dr. Darity testimony and invite him, because everybody was just running around just calling anybody. I keep telling you, the bill is within the subcommittee of Constitution, Civil Rights, and Civil Liberties. Stephen Cohen is the subcommittee chairman. Can't nothing happen in that committee without that man's okay. He can't schedule no hearing. He can actually do a markup in the subcommittee, but they won't do it. They want to have it in the full committee. I already got the man to admit to all of this. It's Jerry Neller. He has the power to do it. He could do one tomorrow if he wanted to. It's like, go ahead, my bad.
Well, I guess my other ideas were to put it forth to our religious leaders, to be talking about it in church. That's always an idea of mine, because when I look at the people who are winning, who are on the right, who are winning, I look at what they do, and they get a lot of this stuff from their churches, and their members call their representatives. And like I said, if you don't have a representative who's a Democrat, then call a Democratic Party leader.
That's just like in the Black community. Like in the Black Belt South, you really can't get elected unless you is part of a Black church. It's the same way in the Black community, just like in the Republican and like the Republican community, it's the same way. It's a lot of, we in the Bible Belt, basically in the South. So I understand being with the church. Yeah, that's their main support. That's how they get people out to vote for them with the church.
Right, and I say we should ask them to speak to their congregants about the same thing. It's time to demand it.
Welcome, MG. Welcome. You want to introduce yourself real quick for everybody who sent you late to the party? I'm so happy that you joined us.
Hey, Michael Graham of Actify Press, the infamous Actify.
You're kind of low.
Oh, Michael Graham of the infamous Actify Press. Is that better, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Always yelling at me. Y'all should get used to that when you hang around us.
I'm the work wife. I crack whips.
I see. So mean. All right. That's me. Sorry to come late. We had some stuff we had to do at the house. Avery, Edie, it's nice to meet you as well. Avery, it's nice to meet you. And what's up, Mud?
Nice to meet you too, bro.
Avery, could you explain to me, has HR40 been in the same committee since 1989?
Yeah, that's how I was going. Actually, they had a markup session in 91, but after they had a markup session in 91, they let the bill die. That's what John Collins actually did the bill the farther it's ever been. But since then, yes, every year, only reason I'm gonna tell you like this, John Collins submitted the bill every 2 years until 2017, 16 or 17 before he ended up retiring. And after then, Sheila Jackson Lee picked up the bill because she was the only Black person on the subcommittee of constitutional civil rights and civil liberties. So being the only Black person on that subcommittee, she had to pick up the reparations bill. That's how she ended up with the bill. And every year it goes to the Judiciary Committee, then they send the bill to the subcommittee. And every year that's where the bill died. Last year, I got Stephen Cohen admitted that he had to send the bill back to the full Judiciary Committee with no markups or anything. So he sent the bill back to die. Sent the bill back in November, knowing it's about to be in the Congress in December and it's going to be the 117th Congress. That's why I say it's the beginning of the 117th Congress. The Democrats have no excuse. They have nothing that can stop the House from passing the bill. Nothing. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, it goes to the same committee for this last 30 years and die.
Right, because when you look at it on Congress, look it up on the websites where they explain the bills, like the last action is there, and you're like, whoa.
Like that hearing where there was the other day on the 17th, if they don't have no markup session, that's when the bill gonna die for this Congress. They're gonna try to bring it back up to 118 Congress. That's why I say we got to pressure for a markup session so we can get those edits, get the bill past the House, or get the bill. Go ahead.
What is the deadline to contact FEX?
You have to do this a daily task. The day, because they're gonna kill it. If it's basically, we have to pressure them now to actually mark up the bill to get it amended. Because if not, they just gonna let the bill sit and die. It's like a lot of Congress members can introduce any kind of bill, and they'll go to a committee, and they'll just let that bill die in that committee if they don't have enough support behind it. If people not pushing it or certain representatives is not pushing the legislature. But that's where we at. Jackson Lee, she getting everything she needed to get reelected in 2022. She did that with the HR40 hearing already. So Jackson Lee is good for 2022. People believe it or not, she's in Texas, Houston, Texas, talking about she had a hearing about reparations. So she's good. People not going to come at her. That's what they do. But further than actually getting it passed and pushing it, she's not going to do anything. She's the head sponsor of the bill. So if she's not really pushing the legislation, who's really there to get a markup session? Or who's there to get it past the House period? You know what I'm saying? That's why we kind of stuck at.
I have a question.
Sorry.
Well, when you say let it die, you mean like just let it sit there until the end of the session?
Yeah, to the next Congress. Yeah, that's what they've been doing for the last 30 years. Somebody introduced, John Connor used to introduce the bill. Even when he was the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, he introduced the bill, and the bill died in his own committee. I don't see how that could happen, but yeah. And 118 Congress gonna happen in 2022. We all know that. That's our deadline. Did the bill we're gonna have to start? It's gonna start over again. The process gonna start over again.
Is there anything that we can learn from California passing a similar reparations bill?
The California, it's the same thing like America right now. Democrats running everything, the House, they Senate, and they governorship. So I believe we in the same situation as California. It's just that the people really gonna back it to get it. Is we gonna really get the support to get it passed? That's in my opinion.
Oh, I apologize. I thought the reparations bill had passed in California.
It did.
Oh, okay.
No,
It's a study though.
Right.
Yeah, it's a task force to study, but yeah, it passed.
But yes, well, hold up. We have to. That's what people always say. We don't need no study. We don't need no study. Everybody that got reparations had a study before they got reparations.
Oh, yeah. I'm here for the study because once they start studying, they're gonna realize they owe us more money than we talking about.
Yeah.
But what forces helped get it passed in California?
That bill was on the books already in California, but Sam can tell you about the rest of it because she helped.
So ADOS so the thing about it is California was a twist of fate. So there happened to be a person who had gotten an internship in Shirley Weber's office who was interested in learning how bills were made. They asked her what kind of bill she wanted to learn how to do. So she said a reparations bill. From there, the wheels got rolling. Then ADOS LA jumped in and they started helping. So they did some rewrites on the bill. Then ADOS LA organized people to make massive amounts of phone calls and everything else when it came to the bill. And then we got it pushed through each of the different steps that it had to be pushed through. And then when it went to Newsom's office, it was kind of sitting there for a little bit. He was acting like he didn't want to sign it. And that's when they got Ice Cube, specifically Tiffany, ADOS LA, got Ice Cube to start talking about it and to push it. And that's how it actually got pushed through. So there was a lot of things that were going on with it. But also Shirley Weber was a person who wanted to push that bill versus Sheila Jackson Lee doesn't want to. So there's going to be extra work in that because you don't have a person who's actually trying to help you get the bill passed, whereas Shirley Weber wanted the bill to be passed.
Just like when just like how I got Dr. Dirty invited to the HR40 hearing in 2019, Jackson Lee didn't invite him. Cohen invited him, the subcommittee chairman invited him, and submitted his testimony on the record. Jackson Lee didn't. And in November of 2019, she supposed to set up a meeting with Dr. Dirty. I was right involved in the middle of it. And she basically ignored him all of 2020, never set the meeting up, never met with him. So they know his work, they know his ed, they know everything. They just don't want to do it. She just don't want to work with him. But the chairman wants to work with him. I don't get it. That's why I say I don't get it. We don't have enough people. It's not really a big enough interest in our community. That's what I really think. Because we have more people really interested in it, we'll get further.
Well, that's where I believe. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying with what you just said, Avery, you sound like you having an MLK, where do we go from here? When he was talking about how the civil rights movement would have went further, but there weren't enough people in the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? How could California pass a reparation bill before any state in the South? Y'all realize that? Do y'all know all the majority of Black people in America reside?
Because there's less than 5% of Black people in California. Even when they cough up some money, it won't cost them that much.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way, but yeah. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, I find it, are there any Democratic controlled Southern states right now?
No, but the majority of the Black caucus is from the South.
Right. Well, and plus they're elderly and they like James Clyburn's 80. Well, and plus they're 80 years old. They're at the end of their careers. This is something to end your career on, right? If you're going to get booted out of Congress, which most of these folks aren't, they're in safe districts.
They all safe. The majority of the Black caucus are safe. Only people can vote them out are Black people. Right. And a Black person not going to vote you out for support and reparations. Well, James Clyburn is in the 6th district of South Carolina.
Yeah.
He should want reparations.
Yeah.
Like, he been there since 92. He been there since like 4 years after John Connors introduced the bill.
Right.
He helped get Clinton elected. He helped get Obama elected, and he helped get Biden elected. James Clyburn that's what he all do, because you know South Carolina be the first state in the South to vote. And the way South Carolina go in the Democratic primary, that's how the majority of the Democrats going to vote. That's why when people always say we're going to get replaced from other people, this, that, and the third, it's really not going to happen. Not in the Democratic Party because of the primary. And because the primary always comes to the South first. And people always, then that's how, if you look at history, and Democratic Party, that's how it always falls. That's why our voting power at. If we wouldn't be in this situation, if we didn't elect Joe Biden in the primary, telling you, he was the wrong guy. I don't believe he'll sign a reparations bill if we get past the study. He'll sign a study bill all day. I'm talking about the bill that comes after it with the actual reparations proposals. And you know what I'm saying? I don't think he'll sign it.
I'm not sure if he would sign HR40.
So Avery, would you suggest that maybe we shouldn't even focus on trying to convince Sheila Jackson Lee? Like, she seems to have already made her decision, and we should probably.
I left her alone in 2019, brother. I left her alone in November. No, December. I gave her a month. No, I gave her 2 months, right there in January. I left her alone in January of 2020. Stop trying to reach out to her. Stop trying to call. Once you talk to her chief of staff, her legislation director, the person that she got contacted on the council, one of the councils on the subcommittee. Once you talk to all these people and you got proof that you done reached out to all these people and they didn't respond back, but they're not really trying to do no action, it's pointless. And I'm not just because she's black. That's why most people keep saying there's pressure job. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean she's gonna do nothing for us. I'm telling you, the subcommittee chairman, he the only person that's actually trying to work with people on the ground. Well, the people that want the edits. I ain't gonna say just the people on the ground because it is other organizations pushing for reparations. We're not the only people. But there's
I know, but that's what I was going to get to. Maybe if we focused our energy and contacting Stephen Cohen and Jerry Neller, like and some of these other, I hate to put it this way, but white Democrats that are on this committee.
Judiciary committee.
Yeah, the Judiciary Committee. Maybe that's what we should focus our energy on, like, and kind of make it seem like we are the the masses, the grassroots masses, instead of these other organizations, and this is what we really want.
Yeah, and I feel like a new representative, she just got elected this year at North Carolina, Deborah Ross. Have you heard of her?
No, who?
Deborah Ross. She's a new elected Democrat representative from Raleigh, North Carolina. She's on the Judiciary Committee. And what's the sister name? The new sister that got elected, Bush.
Corey Bush.
Yeah, she's on the Judiciary Committee. Yeah, I would go after the new people, the young blood. I know Sam P said she BIPOC.
No, don't laugh, MG. Now that she's on the Judiciary Committee, she's my new favorite person. Go ahead, BIPOC. BIPOC us all the way. As long as you don't say that shit when you talk about reparations, we are okay.
Yeah, she did all right on the little testimony for those part. I ain't even say too much bad about it. But those two ladies, my main focus of getting to actually submit the edits. And Jerry, he ain't gonna do it. Stephen, he might submit the edits, but people that we will still have to get the majority of the Democrats, these 13 Democrats, to agree on the edits. You know, because it's 24 Democrats on the Judiciary Committee. So we get 13 down with the edit's gonna get passed. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be part of HR40.
All right.
Okay.
So I know I'm coming late to the party. So the next step is get it to the markups. Try to push them to get it to markups. Is that correct, Avery?
Yeah. Push it for a markup session and try to get them 13 of them to agree to the amendments, not the dirty amendments. It's only 6 of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if one person submit the amendments through the markup session, then 13 people, 13 Democrats agree on, because no Republicans gonna agree on it regardless, you know? So they vote's not, that's why I'm not even talking about the Republicans. So we get 13 Democrats on the Judiciary Committee to agree on the edits. They are part of HR40. And the next step is to get Jerry Neller to pass that bill on us to Speaker Pelosi, who have not co-sponsored the bill, or Leader Hoyer haven't co-sponsored the bill either. And they was the next two people in the process after it gets out of the judiciary committee.
I see that Hank Johnson is on there from
Yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah, he's on it.
Yeah, he's got to be a yes, right? Like he's in a super safe district. He's always like the last time I saw him on the floor of the House, he's just a firebrand.
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
That's what he haven't reached back. He haven't reached out to him. I didn't reach out to him. He haven't never said anything back. But I didn't gave him the edits. I didn't emailed him the edits. I didn't called him about the edits. I didn't call everybody on the judiciary committee about it. I'm just one person. I've been in lawyer for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Going on 3 years, calling people just in it. That's how they look at it. They like it ain't a mass group of people calling and emailing them. It's just like at the most 10 to 20 people keep calling, emailing. We're gonna need way more than that.
Right.
So that's so that's the strategy we're looking at is to push this group of people, the group of Democrats on the judiciary, push them hard with as many people as we possibly can, email and snail mail and phone calls to get them to push the edits.
Yeah,
correct.
Even finding who their legislation directors is and legislation assistants, who those people are, because they're the people that's actually gonna look at the amendments, and that's who write their legislation basically. So we find the right person. Even you seen that screenshot with the list I sent you before?
Yes, I seen it.
Yeah, and like you see the people at the top, those are the ones that's on the subcommittee. Like they're gonna be a part of it too, because they staffers. They are judiciary staffers basically. So I'll be reaching out to all of them, and actually one of those people contacted me before I actually represented them.
Yeah, I discussed with some folks that the 1776 versus 1619 argument is silly. You catch all that wealth and all that stuff downstream in 1776 anyway. I don't even know why we argued about that shit.
Yeah.
Those three
things. Republicans agree on this 1776.
Yeah, as they should.
They will.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Y'all go ahead. I came late, so I don't want to dominate the conversation.
I mean, the thing about the 1776 thing is it just makes the most sense to go with that date because that's the founding of the country. I don't understand why you want to fight so hard against that and go to 1619. Like once we get whatever with America, if you really are pressed about that 1619, then let's talk about England. Let's talk about doing that. But we're like for right now, let's just focus on this.
They need to stop talking about the slavery. You need to talk about from 1865 to 19 to now. You don't even have to skip. You need to talk from 1865 to now.
Telling you.
I can't even. All right, you can talk about slavery. You're right. I wasn't around then. None of my but Jim Crow. Jim Crow was 100-some years. All my grandparents, they great-grandparents.
My mama grew up. My mama was born under Jim Crow's segregation.
Yeah, and my father was born Jim Crow. So I'm like, I don't get it.
Great migration. Yep, absolutely.
And in 1968, man, the government knew what they was doing. I feel like the government from 1968 to now, what they did to the black family, they should pay reparations for that alone.
I mean, even with the conversation about redlining, like we could just have that conversation and still be talking about the same.
What about this credit? They got credit in 1930, 33, 34. Black people didn't get credit to 1974. Period. Like the place. I can't even talk right now. That should be pissing me off. Like for real, like with credit. You can't that's a 30-year event. Then you got home loans with federal backing. Like, was no way that you could lose your house, no matter what. And that was more than 30 years. That was like a 50-year advantage. That's what I'm like. You don't in all these hearings and all this shit people be talking about. They never talk about that. They say my parents wasn't this, my parents wasn't that. But your parent got a home loan. You got a dog with a pension, or you got a free education. You got everybody got something in America. You know what I'm saying? It'd It
Got a
pissed
good
me
old
off.
government job. Yep, absolutely.
Only thing black people got was the post office.
Yeah.
Shit, that's it.
And they're
If you work at
taking
the
that
post,
now.
yeah,
They're
and that's
taking the
why they,
post office
yeah.
now.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
I fight against the postal Enhancement and Accountability Act from 2006. Democrats they created that bill. They put that bill through the House, and then they put it through the Senate. We don't know how many people voted for it because it was like a unanimous consent, I believe. Is that right, Avery? Where the
Yeah.
senators don't have to tell who voted for it. So anyway, they're taking about, it's the biggest tragedy because that was the road to middle class jobs. And now it's kind of like an Amazon. That's what it's turning into.
Yeah, that's the one that made them pay ahead of time for retirement and stuff. That's the
75
one.
years into the future for health and retirement benefits. What corporation does that? And Henry Waxman was he was my congressman at the time in our district, and he was a co-sponsor, and our post office was sold, our main post office, and we were moved. It was a beautiful historic building, and we were moved to a little tiny industrial area. But 1,500 post offices were sold. The post office, it's no joke what's going on to jobs over there. It's really scary.
You know why they doing it?
Oh,
you
yeah.
know why they doing it?
Yeah, people are given part-time work. They're starting to call them contractors now. It's scary business.
Yeah. So
those were good black jobs, Edie.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
That's what it was in the 70s and the 80s.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, both my parents got them good old union jobs. So let me ask you this, Avery. So I don't know if you guys covered this already. I'm sorry, but so just to map this out for those of us who want, because I know I know this should be should be all the above actions here, because some folks I know some people are drafting a new bill to replace HR40 to get that in. Some people want to get the edits in. Some people want to burn HR40 to the ground. But none of us, all the folks that want to burn HR40 to the ground, don't have the power to burn it down. So it behooves us to try to be involved in this process and have as much impact as we possibly can. So so I just wanted to kind of map this out. So the next step, Avery, is to try to push them to go to markup and try to influence all the folks, all the Democrats on that body, in their body, to bring in Darity's edits, and whoever brings it in, it doesn't matter. And what's the next step, Avery?
After that, we need to get Speaker Pelosi to introduce the bill on the floor for a vote. That's it. And then after that, we have the same process gonna have to go on in the Senate, but it's less people, you know. Yes, this will be the same process. Cause we're gonna have to do this work ourselves and put the pressure on these people ourselves and make sure it get happening. So when they try to bullshit you and tell you this, no, that's not the process. We know exactly what's supposed to happen. How you do have the power to do this. Democrats have the power. They're gonna have the power for the next 2 years. And I don't see them losing it in 2022. So I feel like they're gonna have it for the next 4 years.
Oh, they trying hard to give it away though. They trying hard to give it away. Yeah.
You think they going? What you think? If you say they, all right, let me go back. What you said first. Who gonna reintroduce? Who gonna introduce a new? If somebody do write up a bill, say me and you get together and write up a new reparations bill. Who in the House of Representatives or in the Senate is going to introduce that legislation?
That's a good question. I'm not in that camp.
You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody always say, "Come on, man, let's write our own bill." Our first question is, who is going to introduce that legislation? You know,
so the only person we would be talking about is probably Cori Bush, right?
Mondaire Jones has said he wants reparations.
He co-sponsored HR40 too.
Yeah, he's on the judiciary committee as well.
Yeah, and Cori Bush, he sponsored HR40 too. So y'all think either one of them people will actually rewrite their legislation and reintroduce the bill this Congress?
Maybe not
or
this
next
Congress.
or next Congress.
Maybe not. I don't think this Congress. I think they would say
While
let's
Jackson
say
Lee
HR.
got a bill,
Yeah.
while Jackson Lee got a bill with 150 something co-sponsors.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree. I think
You're making a
we're
good point.
looking at they
Or would
they
they
would say let
amend it?
HR40 go its course.
Or
Right.
if you sat on that committee, would you just submit the amendments in the markup session? Because you could do that because that's part of your job. The bill
Yeah.
have to go to markup session. If you had the power to submit amendments to that bill, wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what they should be doing. But I'm just
I'm
saying
trying
that
to.
people are putting energy into that space of creating a new bill.
They should get
And
one of them people on the judiciary to just
mhm,
amend the bill. Instead of them trying to say, tear the bill up, it's
mhm,
trash. Because you know what public put, well, you know how the public gonna look at it. It's trash. It's trash. Everybody say it's trash. It's trash. It's just a study. It's just a study. Not
mhm,
know. Like people just keep saying it's not reparations. It's just a study. It's trash. It's trash.
mhm.
People is not gonna want to support it. And there's the person that don't know nothing about it. They can be like, oh, black people saying it's trash. It must be trash. Some people not gonna go look up for themselves. People have to stop saying that. To
Yeah.
tell people the bill need to be amended. That's the only bill we have for reparations. We had a bill for over 30 years. And the
Agreed. Agreed.
Democrats, who you vote for, you voted Democrat if you voted. You need to support you need to support the amendments and push these people, these specific people, that's their job to amend this legislation. Don't just be upset and saying it's trash or saying what you want to do when you actually can do something about it. Here's this person's number, here's this person's email, here's their staffers' numbers and emails. You can contact these people and you can have public records, you can have records that you did contact these people. So if you did get a large mass of people, you can hold them accountable. So you can't say, oh, I don't know that y'all was one of the amendments to this bill. You didn't? How about I got thousands of people with emails saying they emailed you, call logs showing that they called you. Like, come on, but we don't have mass people to do it. Telling you it'd only be a small number. Everybody else do the same thing. It don't work for us because we don't be together and push everybody. Okay, somebody want to read and do some new bill. I'm calling because I say it's trash. Fuck that bill altogether. Then somebody else calling, can you just amend the bill? Like they getting 3, 4, 5 different messages from people. Instead of one message, mark up the bill and amend the bill. Because reparations is supposed to go to descendants of slaves in America. People know who that is. Go to the 1870 census. You can go from there forward. You can go to 1910. If you was black in America in 1910, you was a slave. You descendants from slaves. Just that simple.
But I think to Mike's point, what he's trying to say, like if HR40 doesn't make it in this session, and we get to the next session, I think what we're talking about as far as the people that are thinking in this idea of we're going to create a new bill is that next session we'll get Cori Bush or somebody to push it. Like that would probably be the
next best plan. I get what you're saying. That'll be the next best thing to do. Cori Bush or who else? Yeah, it'll have to be somebody on judiciary committee though.
Yeah, because I mean the bill's not. I mean I haven't heard of it. I've heard people are working on it, but I haven't seen it. I have heard people say a lot of things, obviously, but I think having an all the above strategy should start with, and I agree with you on this, Avery. We should focus on in this session getting this bill amended and getting a markup amended and getting it to the floor. That's where it should be. We should be focusing our energy. Now, in the meantime, if somebody's working a bill, we say, okay, we'll try to amend the bill. If we don't get the amendments, then or the bill gets to the floor and we can't or we can't get it to the floor, or somehow the bill dies. You say, okay, now we go to Plan B, which is a new bill. All right, I can understand that. Instead, we
if
focus
Cori
our
Bush,
energies.
that's what she would tell you anyway. She would tell you that anyway. I would not. I'll amend the bill if we had a markup session. I'm not about to come out here and read this. Introduce a new bill my first year in Congress to go against Jackson Lee. I'm not going to do that.
Of course, but like I'm saying in the scenario that I was
saying, yeah, in the 118th Congress, yes, in the 118th Congress, she picked up her own legislation, or Jackson Lee could pass the bill to her, and she can edit it herself.
See, I know somebody who may be able to influence Cori Bush.
That's what we need. That's what we need more than anything, connections. That than being just a lost person out here just calling. I know they get tired of me. Going, they know me, they know my name.
So we'll yeah, I mean, Hey, Avery, the last hearing, Darity got his edits in when he submitted the information. His stuff got read into the record, right?
Yeah.
The previous hearing, right?
Mm-hmm. In 2019.
Yeah. Does that still count for the markup, or
That's on the record for HR40. You ever pull up HR40, that's gonna always be there. All
Okay.
witness testimony always stay a part of legislation. Most times legislation get passed though. In that same session, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's go. All you gotta do, go to a bill, go to an old bill and just click on it. That's how I learned a lot of this. So a bill get passed, I go click on it, then I go say, okay, it was witness for this. That's how I end up finding out that I need to get Dr. Derry on that witness list. In March of 2019, I said, oh man, I'm about to switch my focus on getting Dr. Derry actually on the hearing. Keep all these damn co-sponsors. I want to actually get somebody to speak for us at the hearing.
Yeah.
Then we kept doing it. And Steve, he actually reached out to Derry the same day that he told me about the hearing. He reached out to Derry. And Darity submitted his written testimony, and it's gonna be part of the record forever. You know, It's gonna be part of the record, and most of them edits are already in his testimony. That's what I was saying on Twitter. Like Dr. Darity edits is already part of HR40. We just got to get somebody to actually submit them at the markup session. We haven't got to the last markup session on HR40 was in 1991. That's the last time that bill had a markup session. In 1991.
Okay. All right. So I guess we sort of we got a path forward. So because we were a lot of us in the modern iteration of the reparations movement. A lot of us were under the sway of Yvette and Tone, and we moved the way they decided we moved. So now that the great schism, the great schism has happened, people are trying to re-coordinate, and I think discussions like these are going to help everybody kind of get focused and get off of all these side issues that we keep running into over and over again. And I think this gives us a lot to a lot of food for thought, so to speak. So just to run this down, just so it's clear in my head.
Markup session,
and
get the amendment submitted by any one of the 24 Democrats on the House
Judiciary Committee, and then get Nancy Pelosi to put it on the floor.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's all right.
3 steps.
3 steps, and in a parallel process could be to get more co-sponsors.
Yeah.
Could that be a parallel
It needs
process?
51 more co-sponsors. The bill needs 51 more co-sponsors, and it passed automatically. It passed the House automatically.
Okay.
218 votes or 218 votes for co-sponsors. A bill passed the House automatically.
Okay.
That's the law.
So that's where we should focus right now. So what about the Senate?
The Senate, that's where it's gonna be hard. Cause they say, "What? Explain to me what this filibuster thing is." You got to have 68 votes or something. Who can explain to me what this filibuster in the Senate is? Because everybody keep telling me the Democrats can't, because they got 50-50 split, and Kamala Harris, she can't just vote and get something passed in the Senate. Is that true?
Well, yeah, because when the Democrats when the Democrats allow the Republicans to filibuster, because they could have tied this to the budget. What do you call that? Reconciliation.
Shep, the short answer is that the Budget Committee would have to pass reconciliation instructions, basically a piece of legislation that instructs the committees to approve a reconciliation bill. And the key thing to know here is that only items related to taxation and spending can qualify under reconciliation, which of course bypasses the 60 vote threshold in the Senate. So things like $1,400 payments direct to Americans could be included in that. Other COVID relief measures, including aid to state and local governments, potentially plus-ups on healthcare subsidies, could be included. But separate matters, including things like immigration reform or gun control, or even a minimum wage hike that Democrats want to do, are considered more regulatory in nature and would be very difficult to do via reconciliation.
They could do this in reconciliation and walk through with a 51 and Kamala Harris comes through, but the Democrats are as you know, they are loath to make power moves, because the Democrats, if the Republicans filibuster, which the Democrats could have killed, the Republican filibuster, that means they need 60 for anything to pass. But if they call it and they say, okay, this is going to be reconciliation, this goes to reconciliation, that means they only need 51, and that way Kamala Harris can be that 51st vote if she so chooses to be so. And she could in the back channels kill it. Like, nope,
Yeah.
you're not gonna put that on me. I don't like them ADOS folks anyway. They yelled at me. they killed my presidential campaign.
Yeah.
They
You got a
kiss her
point.
ass.
You think we get 10 Republicans?
Kamala needs to decide, does she want to be the first Black-ish president, Black-ish female president or not? If she want to be the first Black-ish female president, she need to sign that and do what she need to do.
Yeah.
Because she'll be right up there on the wall with MLK, Obama. It'll be MLK, Obama, Lincoln, and Kamala.
She'll be in front of them. She saw that reparations.
She'll be in the front. She'll be like in the front, like Beyonce, and everybody else will be like Destiny's Child in the back, or Diana Ross, and then everybody else will be the Pips.
We know that.
Bring this little Indian girl on with us.
We'll love her. They will love her like she really wants us to love her. Yeah. I think, I mean, for the short term, at least until this session is over, that sounds like a solid strategy. You just got to get other folks on board. And the assembly did that thing for this past hearing with all the information for the tweet and email and call folks. And I guess it's time to do it again for this effort. And we gotta get on this snail mail.
I've been calling these same people for 2 years.
You're a good man, Avery.
Same people for only people. There's only 3 new names on the list.
Yeah,
that's it, man.
Well, I have a question, Avery. Is there like a website to go to where you can just plug in, like they have a script for what we want to say? And you can send it to your congressperson?
No, nobody has. Dawn has a strip. She had a strip, but no, we don't have one. I just call in and I freestyle. I talk to them. I just call like a regular concerned citizen.
Yeah,
I talk to everybody different. It depends how you answer the phone, how I actually will reply to you,
Yeah,
right.
The assembly did create a script. They had a Twitter script and a voice script and I guess the voice script is the same as the letter script, but they did have a script for what people could do, could say, and I turned it into an article in Actify Press. Don't ask me what the name of it is, the article. It's emergency something. I forget the name of the article, but yeah, I agree that we need to. Because there's a few now for the people who are listening that don't know, other than ADOS, now there's the Assembly, which is a group some of the chapters that pulled away from ADOS. Then there's the Reparationist Collective, which is a few folks that were dealing with ADOS in different forms. So, and on top of that, you have independent bodies like us at Reset Race. So there's a lot of people that are now more or less free to coordinate these efforts as the collective sees fit, or as all of us see fit. And I think it's time for us to better coordinate our efforts. So there's a lot of people working on that right now, and there's some freelancers out there too. There's some freelancers out there too, but I think it's far past time for us to get better coordinated with our efforts.
Right, because we're
Imagine,
dealing with people who are the busiest, right? They don't have time. And the easier you make it for people, the more likely they're to do it.
yeah, do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine you getting 100. That's why I say 100. I started at 100. You get 100 people calling a congressperson every day and email, they're gonna get tired of people calling them now.
Exactly.
That's why I say Jerry Neller, because he's the chairman of the committee. That's why I always point at the head. You go at the head. They the person that set the schedule. They the ones that can do anything that you need them to do. I always talk about their head.
Yeah, and he's
Go
the
at
guy
them.
that can override. He can override Sheila Jackson Lee without looking like an ass because it's his job. Yeah,
because you supporting the people.
Yeah,
and you supporting the people. You can blame me. I'm supporting the people. I'm getting thousands and thousands of calls and emails a day. The lady at the hearing said she got 300 letters from the Japanese people to support HR40. I didn't call over 300 times. I know over 300 other people didn't call. So like, come on, man. Is it really that easy or not? Like, do we really got to you got to really put pressure on these people to make them do their job? It's your job. That's all you're doing. You ain't doing nothing extra. You ain't doing nothing special. You just doing your job.
Yeah, especially when it comes to edits and the markup. I mean, that's what the markup is for, is edits.
Yeah.
You know, because we know that in Cobra and Narc, they're a little closer to the throne than we are, but we got to find a way to override them. They don't want any edits because they got plans. So
closer to Jackson Lee. Go ahead.
Sorry.
This is a common strategy for the Democratic Party. They did this to SB 562 in California, where they leave it in committee and just let it sit and ignore it. I do think that one of the other strategies that folks should be thinking about is getting people to primary these people, right? We have to have people set up, people who are prepared to get into Congress. And the next Congress or the Congress after that, it could take 4 years to find people to primary the Clyburns, the Lees, the people that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so,
Justice Democrats are planning. They're gearing up to start primary CBC folks. So we should be beating them to the punch. Yeah, man, we got so much work to do. Jeez.
And that's ground game. You got to get out there now with this primary. You have to be out there now trying to primary people. You got to start.
That's why I say it takes 4 years.
Yeah,
it's going to take 4 years to get somebody in.
Yeah,
Sorry,
popping up out of nowhere. Yeah.
Hey, if we get a significant amount of people together, should we try to align with the Justice Democrats as far as trying to primary people instead of having to fight with them to, for the same space?
Well, the problem is they haven't embraced reparations.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Yeah, absolutely. And
but I'm saying that, if that's if we show them that we have a significant amount of numbers and working together would be in their best interest, maybe we can push them over the reparations.
Yeah, at least
where these Justice Democrats at? Where these Justice Democrats at?
That's a good question.
That's what I'm talking about on the map. You look on the map, where they at?
Isn't that AOC and Cori Bush?
That's in the north.
Cori Bush.
That's in the northeast.
Now. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, Avery. You we need to move some people in the south.
Yeah, you in BIPOC country. You talking about AOC and Cori
I love it, BIPOC country. I love it.
You gotta start going south though. Them Justice Democrats don't got a snowball chance in hell in the south. Think about it. You got to be a Bible thumper in the south to win. Now, you got to go somebody that's in the church heavy. They can support reparations. That's not the problem. Like in Clyburn district, think about all the Democrats that really would know. I'll take that back because they don't. Clyburn the only one in the south that really got power. The rest of them from other places, from the West Coast, really. Most Black Democrats are powerful on the West Coast. Oh my! But the majority of you want to take over most Black seats in Congress. That's coming in the South, and you got to be a Bible thumper because you can support reparations to get any kind of base, because think about it, on the local level, they be city councilmen, and they get some kind of state seat, then they go for a Congress seat or something like that. And they have history in a lot of these towns and cities and districts. So it'd be that's how it'd be kind of hard down here, man. And we be trying to push progressive people, how you would say progressive, Bernie supporters, how you would say it. That's the politics that line up mostly probably with Bernie Sanders. It ain't flowing like that in North Carolina. Not happening. People in the South are more moderate than people really think. They're more conservative than what people really think. They ain't really on that progressive tip in the South. I'm just being honest.
It's true.
And that do for selfer mentality in the South is because motherfuckers had to really do for self. It's not a bad thing. Like when you
Real
say,
talk,
they say
my
that,
grandmother talks about building the house when she was a kid. Like they literally built the house she grew up in. Like that's some do for self shit for that ass.
My grandparents built their own house too.
That's why I mean that's be our disconnect. You know what I'm saying? It really be our disconnect. And then nobody try to cater to the people in the South. And that's where our numbers at. We really got the numbers down here. Now, we don't have no political power, but on the federal level in the South, because we all stay in red states. Except for Georgia. And Georgia just turned blue this year. Majority of black people stay in blue districts and red states.
It ain't gonna stay blue. They just passed a new law and I think they're trying to pass a new law in Georgia with a whole bunch of new restrictions for voting. They ain't gonna let
that ain't gonna last. That is not gonna last. I give it to 2028. I give it 2028. That's gonna be back red. And think about it. All right, my state, North Carolina. North Carolina went red for Trump. We got a Democratic governor, but we got a Republican lieutenant governor, a black Republican lieutenant governor. How that happen?
Magic.
How that happen?
Well, look, we have a power structure in the Democratic Party that we have to fight as well, right? They don't want this stuff to happen. So it's hard to get these people out of power. I've tried to do it where I am. I've joined a local club. We didn't have enough numbers to overcome and take over this club. And we're in California. We're supposed to be in one of the most progressive parts we were Bernie people. But we had two members of that club they built two other clubs over the course of 2 years to dilute our power, to keep their own power and to pull power away from the club, to dilute. If we did manage to take over the club, that our power was diluted because they had taken their people to other clubs. Like, this is a struggle. Like, sometimes I think it'd be easier just to go take over the GOP.
I believe you. I believe you. Like, if you want to get clout-burn, bitch, you're going to need 85,000 people.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. You're going to need 85,000 people to vote against him. If you don't have 85,000 people, it's a waste of time. That means you're going to have to take 40,000 people, at least 30,000 people from him.
Yeah. So we got an HR40 strategy, and we have a more or less a meta strategy of trying to groom new reparationists, progressive reparationists to get into office. But that's a good point about trying to link up with the Justice Democrats, but I think they are not built for this reparations fight, and I don't think they plan on joining us in that fight. But we already got to know.
Yes, we're gonna be the Justice Democrats in the South. They use that network, and they use the progressive Democrats, so however you want to call them. They don't have nobody in the South to really go up against these people. Well, we need their backing. We need their funds, really.
That's what I was kind of thinking, because like they're trying to get power just as much as we're trying to get power. But if you look at the people that they're getting, it may be the East Coast, but they're going to, districts that are like, majority Black. Like, they're coming into our spaces and they're trying to use, the fact that we have such weak politicians against us as far as gaining power. So I think that if we actually shift them in a way to where it could actually benefit both of our agendas, like, that might be the best way forward, because I think we're going to be competing with the Democratic Party, and we're going to fuck around and we're going to have these spaces where we're competing with the Justice Democrats too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's valid. I think a more immediate strategy, along with talking to them, I think a more immediate strategy is getting people's heads. We need to start grooming people for the next
Well,
step.
definitely.
Yeah,
Like the
I heard
type of
Lord
shit I'm
Abbott's supposed
talking.
to be running for mayor or something. Did I hear that right? I
I
heard
don't know.
I heard he's supposed to be running for office somewhere, or
You need to
thinking about
look
running.
into the person that ran. You need to look into their calendars from previous elections. A lot of times it'd be the same challengers. You can tell. Ballotpedia.
Yeah, Ballotopedia. Yeah.
Yeah, you can look into who they ran against and see their numbers
Mm-hmm.
for a
And see if
lot
they
of
have a
candidates.
chance. Yeah.
Yeah, to see who have a chance and all that, you can reach out to those people because in that area, in those districts,
Mm-hmm.
them the people that really have connections on the ground, and we can connect with them.
That's
And
smart.
but you know what I'm
That's
saying?
smart, Avery. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Yeah, man, we got so much work to do. God
I've
Almighty.
been trying to do that in Clyburn district. I told you 85,000, man. Like, and the progressive Democrats want to get Clyburn out of there. They want him out of there.
Yeah.
The squad,
Yeah,
they want him out of there.
Yeah.
this
They
Too
is
want
what
many
I'm
Nancy
people.
saying.
Pelosi out of there too, but nobody talks about Nancy Pelosi because she's a white woman. That's why
Mm-hmm.
nobody's gonna talk about her. I'm telling you. So that's why she get a free pass. She's a Republican just sitting there like a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Think about what
Mm-hmm.
the shit she votes
She get-
for, votes
sh-
against.
she
She's
owns
a
San
Republican.
Francisco. She ain't going nowhere. She
No, she's not. She comfortable. She like
yeah.
Clyburn. She comfortable. They comfortable, man.
Mm-hmm.
Clyburn's daughter gonna take his district when he retires.
Yeah, they tried to run with the dude's name Shahid Buttar against Pelosi.
Yes.
He didn't have a chance. He didn't have a chance.
Well, the
He didn't have a
problem up there is
Mhm.
they run too many people. They don't get they don't get behind one person.
The
Mhm.
Democrats
You
do
know,
that on purpose.
Yeah,
I know.
absolutely.
They
Yeah.
fund them all so she have a chance to win. They'll throw a
That's
little bone to some everybody.
absolutely. We couldn't get Nancy Pelosi out if we wanted to, even if we had the greatest
Strategy.
candidate.
Yeah, greatest
We couldn't
strategy,
get her
greatest
out because she
candidate.
would cheat.
And we still need a stick of dynamite.
Yeah.
She's wedged in there.
That's how we
Yeah.
feel about Clyburn over here, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
The
because
reality,
we need a young firebrand reparationist who is black, because the first thing they're gonna scream is racism if we try to if somebody went at somebody like Clyburn. But it's gotta be somebody who's young, known in the area, or at least willing to get on the ground now and become known,
mm-hmm. Part of the
and
church.
part of the church. Pick a local church, start playing some
Mm-hmm.
softball.
So yeah, do something. Yeah,
Go,
for real though.
yeah,
For real.
go
It's
to
people out
get
there
the
like
bake
that though.
sales. Yeah,
We just
absolutely.
have to find them, man. It's people out there that like that they want to challenge these people. They just ain't never had the actual national support of people because a lot of these they don't have the funds to really to actually challenge these people in some of these districts. Like
Yeah, that's the
Clyburn
biggest issue
district,
with
man.
funds. Yeah.
Think about it. When Clyburn get funds, he give it to certain like the NAACP, the
Mm-hmm.
Negro, the Negro League. He give funds to certain little organizations because he know those organizations the ones that throw the backpack drives, throw the clothes drives, gives out
Mm-hmm.
turkeys and stuff for Thanksgiving, and actually be in the community helping people. So
Yeah.
once it's time to vote, man, y'all come out here and vote for Clyburn. They the ones on the voter drive, the voter registration. The same
Mm-hmm.
people that Clyburn look out for. You know, I know
Yeah.
this personally. You know, like
Yeah.
Clyburn got this shit locked up, man. He don't. This man make money off power, off energy in South Carolina. This motherfucker is a crook, but that's a
Mm-hmm.
different story. That's a whole different
So
story.
I'm this is me spitballing. So we need, as reparations, we need a central organization, whether we team with the Justice Democrats or not, a central organization to vet and train potential leaders.
Yeah,
That's what we need to do more than anything, because I firmly believe that the once you start seeing the data and and the facts about our justice claim, it'll energize damn near anybody, anybody who's right thinking anyway, especially if you're black and you're concerned about the future of our community. You will be innovated by, if you read, if From Here to Equality doesn't move you, you weren't built for this anyway. So we need to find some folks like that. Obviously it's not gonna be me. I'm just spitballing right now. Along with all these other strategies, but and you're right. That's a very, very, very important strategy to start grooming these folks and to challenge these people, because I don't. Justice Democrats aren't going to do that work, right? If we build it, they'll be forced to come, or we'll just be banging heads. That's on them, you know. If we could, but if we just go to them and say, well, we're willing to work with you, first thing they'll say is, what do you got, right? And if we ain't got no money, and all we got is, but if we do have some folks that are making phone calls and kicking people's ass, that's the thing we need. I think that's the most immediate thing we need to build, is coordinate our efforts to get these to just be a focused machine to start sending emails and snail mail, and phone calls and all that stuff. I think that's the first most immediate thing, is to build that machine.
Because you even see other Congress people do that. They even say, reach out to other Congress people about such and such legislation to get it passed. Even when they was talking about canceling student debt, even now you can see it on Twitter. You see Congress people say, call your congressman about this bill or canceling student debt, this and the third. They do, even your own Congress people tell you do this to put pressure on other Congress people to pass legislation. So I don't see how, if we are a political group or a group that's trying to push legislation, how all our focus is not on Congress. That should be our only focus, on like people in Congress or getting our own people into Congress, you know? Anything else really is not actually doing the work. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. That's for sure. Damn.
You know, the other option with the Justice Democrats is you put your people in and don't tell them you're for reparations until they're good and in. I don't know. That's, you know, that's a Democratic Party move. That's a DNC move. Like,
yeah. Damn it. That's like most of the heads of the DNC are immigration lawyers before they became Congress. Y'all wonder why we pushing immigration so hard.
I did not know that.
Let's look it up.
Damn,
most of immigration
work,
lawyers.
Avery. I'm working first.
I did not know that. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Immigration lawyers. Look up, especially on the Judiciary Committee. Look what they did before they became on the Judiciary Committee. That's what their previous job history was.
Damn.
Most of them lawyers, most of them was lawyers.
Yeah, I knew they were lawyers. I didn't know they were immigration lawyers, yeah.
See what kind they was.
Any final thoughts? Go ahead, guys. Any final thoughts? I'll let everybody take their turn. Go ahead. You can start, Edie.
Well, I think that the first step could be the easiest, which is a website that gives this script and sends it to people's Congress people. I mean, like, I know to me
I plan on getting up the Reset Race website by the end of March. So that will be part of the website. Now, what other groups are doing, I don't know 100%, but we'll at least have it done on our end.
Right, that's great. That's something that we can share on social media. Okay, so have you heard of White People for Black Lives Matter, Avery?
No, I haven't.
So that's one of the things that I would do is call them and say, here, we've got this, or email all those folks, because, you know, they're supposed to be standing for this, right? The people who have those signs in their front yard, Black Lives Matter, around my house, you know, I'd put something on their door. Yeah, I'd put something on their door, you know, a flyer saying, please go to this website and send this to your representative. My representative, Ted Lieu, is on the Judiciary Committee, and he's a co-sponsor of the bill.
Yeah, we need him to submit those edits at the markup session. That's all you need from that man. All them Black Lives Matter signs in your neighborhood, they in that same district. They need all call him about them submitting those edits. That's all he gotta do. He ain't gotta do much. Just submit the edits and tell Jerry Nelly he want a markup session. That's all he gotta do.
To get my neighbors to do it easy, I need a strategy, and everybody does. We need something to give to people. You know, a website to go to where it's one button. You know, put in your zip code, and then they have the script. right? Everybody's gotten those from Move On or Change.org, right?
Yeah. And the good thing about HR40 is people don't even have to go that far as in having to put in their address because they need to be reaching.
Oops, you're off.
Sorry. No, I was saying the good thing about like with the HR40 is you're reaching out to people who are on the Judiciary Committee. So you won't even have to look up your congressperson. We already have all of those people listed for you. All you got to do is reach out to the people on the list.
Right. So really, it doesn't even have to be a website. It could be a change.org petition.
Yeah,
Those are my
it.
last thoughts.
You got anything, Avery? Final thoughts?
No, just markup session, amendments, and pass. That's it. Those three steps.
I got nothing else to say. Like, I mean, that's it.
And I ain't got nothing. I'm just glad Avery joined us and filled us in on some stuff. I'm glad Edie joined us. Edie is our first white person, first white lady on Reset Race. Claps for Edie. Yay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Edie has broken the color barrier.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so honored.
So alrighty then. Well,
all right, y'all.
So
listening to Reset Race, you're now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race, you're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, back on the grill again. We grilling them, You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. Lineage go back to U.S. Southern plantations. Lineage, Jim Crow and mass incarceration. Redline and lynchings. We are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG the wise one. Cousin mother intellectual. Samantha bringing fire. Anti-black we pressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country. To win you need our energy. You gon' see. Listening to Reset Race. You now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.